options as well as futures. How did you guys do?
Just took one trade.
Smoke scalps.
Yeah, it was pretty good for me. Yeah, I was just confused with that one thing on the ashes because of the like how the wicks will move. But after you clarified that for me, I got a nice win.
Yeah, ashes are basically considers the previous close and open to build the next candle, so it's a little bit different. Overall, I mean, I think we had a good plan from the previous day watch list, right? So this was your IBH. And then, I mean, I have the levels here as well on the other time frames. Well, we're running, I guess, back up.
I think you're heading for the previous week value area low.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they might go here. Yeah, they just broke inside here. Anyway, so for me, if you guys recall, I mentioned that 39.77 here. That it was a good long opportunity. I don't know if you guys recall, but
Yep.
Where was it? That was not at 4:30.
I think it's around open.
Yeah, it was in the morning.
This does not make sense. What? Oh, okay. What time? Oh, it's ETH. I'm like, dude, I know I changed it to regular. I'm like, what? Okay, so this was the open, right? Then they gave us another entry here around 10:11. We had a couple of good entries between these two. So usually, you know, when you guys look at these setups like this that happen, they're coming to your value area low. They're defending this previously. Let me kind of zoom in on that. So this was there. Let me go change to this so I can show this. So let me start with open. Did everybody understand how we opened, or?
It's really choppy, right?
It was really choppy, right? So you opened where?
You open below like yesterday's value area low.
Okay, what else? I mean, this is the PDL, right? This is our open today. Look at the open here.
Inside the range?
You open inside the range, but below PD value area low. Usually what that means that you have a high chance for what? If you reclaim
going bullish.
If you reclaim the PD value area low, there's a strong chance that you can execute a nice 80% rule. I mean, we came very close to the PD POC, and I don't know who shorted than me here, but I was short here, right? I shorted here, and I mean, we're not making much action in here. And if you guys look, just pay attention to the volume. For instance, in the box on the top, what do you guys notice about the volume? Anything that sticks out?
Selling increased.
So let's see. I'm trying to get these volumes. Sometimes they get bigger. I don't know why they're not doing it now. Okay. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Okay, here we go. So if you guys look here, as we're approaching the POC, you know, the volume increased with indecision. From here on out, this wick here never got really tested. So for me, when I saw this, I was like, okay, well, there's a lot more to the downside here than potentially to the upside, right? And, you know, my stop loss was 406, I believe, in a quarter. So that's how I was playing it. I was giving them, you know, if you're able to break that, I'll get out here and call it a day. I wasn't giving them all the way to PD value area high, because if they break this, most likely they would hit that. So I was giving them a little bit of space, but this was basically our exhaustion. If you look at this level here, if you guys just pay attention candle by candle, anytime you had an uptick, the only anomaly that we had was here. You had a decent candle and then followed. Just look at the green volumes in the box. Low, low, high, body low, small volume, not really making anything. But besides these statements here, it was basically overwhelming on the sell side. And then you have an uptick here on this selling volume and look at the candle.
Yeah.
there's really no auction being taken above the POC, and that's kind of what I wrote. If you guys looked at the notes before the
Yeah.
open,
I remember.
we were not willing to let the auction go higher. Here they tested it, and they really got, you know, surprised probably by this action and a quick sell-off. And then we're making lower highs and testing this, and then of course we kind of dumped from here. We came back, gave a little retest here, and then continued down. As soon as this started happening, you know, I was short, and my target was 39.67 for the day, and we came very close to it. I believe we might have even, yeah, we went below it, 39.65. So 2 points, and my sell was here, and previous week value area low.
Shorty, do you wait for that box to break and then buy the retest, or do you buy that like top wick of the
No,
box?
in this case, I bought the top. I bought the top, and my risk was very minimal. If you're gonna take me out, you're gonna take me out here for a couple of points. Otherwise, you know, from here to here, my risk is not very high, like 3 points, but the 3 points ended up being yielding a lot more points on the downside, right? So in scenarios like this, you can. This is also a great retest as well, because if you grab this, and I haven't done this, but I'm pretty sure if you were to grab this swing high from here to this low, look where it's heading. Like right on 50% of the retracements, which is a pretty good
50%, yeah.
short. Right, so it's telling you you're going down, and then if you had any, I didn't use VWAP today much. So VWAP, we ran above, and then this was also the magnet at this point. This is a standard deviation here. I don't know why it's colored. I didn't really mean to turn that one on, but so the VWAP here today was not helping at all, because we came under and then we literally just popped. So I wasn't using VWAP today at all. So, but if you use trend bar, if you do have the trend bar from the orbs, you could have used it on 5 minutes to stay in the trades today as well. And the clouds were also, you know, sometimes the clouds, when it's ranging like this, they're not the best to use. That means you have to find the cloud that's hitting and basically play that cloud. Don't change it too much when it's in the range. At least that's what works for me. Okay. But today there's a couple of good opportunities, right? I would say, especially here, once we started kind of opening, we dipped here. This was a good buy, and then they dipped it again. They gave a better entry here, and then they sent it higher. So, and then a short here was pretty good for me. Drove it all the way down. Other than that, I think it was a fairly easy day, but that's where you have to trust the levels that you have. Like, you know, the PD value area high really never got tested here. So for you guys, you know, if you're not 100% sure, at least try to test what we teach. Like, for instance, you know, we mentioned that there was no auction above this level. Well, it's not a bad level to short, especially when you see this. And if you zoom in on the candles a little bit on the volume, it'll show the exhaustion. And that's kind of what we were looking for. And then if you look to the left, I mean, if you peek here, this was a pretty strong high before. Now it's acting like a weak high, but we never attempted to break it, that POC level. So you have to use a little bit of logic, right? You're looking to the left and seeing what's happening. So this was previous. If you just look here, if I grab these wicks, if I just do this here, so the setup here is what? So look, support, broke, support, here again came. So if you're shorting here, you can just put the stop loss slightly above, and that's where mine was. 406.25. If you take it out, you lose 3 points. But if you nail it, you're nailing it big, and that's the probability trade. It's not really, you know, like, oh my God, I'm gonna for sure give. I didn't have much feelings if I was to lose this trade, nor would I be mad or upset. There'll be actually no emotions whatsoever. But the probability worked. We came here, we swept the liquidity on both sides, right? So you swept some here. You had equal highs, and then you came here, swept it as well, and they made a lower low. Okay. And then in terms of, I think this was also fairly good. If you guys had the IBH, and I mentioned, I usually keep one chart with everything else, and then I look at one chart for price action. So this is my chart that I usually use for, 3 minutes. And this was your IBH and IBL. So here, if you guys looked at this on 5 minutes, what do you guys notice about this here? It's not really closing above it, but they're testing that. In your mind, there's more likely to be, whenever they do that, there's a high chance they're going to eventually come back and test it or break it. That's how I would look at these little, wicks above it, because here they're just grabbing the supply and grabbing the liquidity. Then they came back here, tested it. We already found this level here to be a decent support. And then multiple ways you could have played this as well. I mean, on the naked chart, remember connecting the lower higher lows, right? So here's 1, 2, and you have the third one, and here's your retest off of that box. So now if you look at the setup on price action, I would say this looks very good, right? So you have the trend line, you came under it, you lost it, and this is how you play the trend line. So just in case you didn't know, if you do have a trend line like this and it breaks, you want to short it from here on a trend line loss, and then whatever the next liquidities are, I don't think this would be great liquidity compared to this one here. Does that make sense? Whenever you have a trend line, I usually don't take this, but I took this one here and I took it earlier up here. But if you're playing these breaks, then you might as well wait for a retest, just because these candles and the wicks pushing you back up, because a lot of you guys panic when you see a little bit of red, because then you start questioning yourself and your confidence whether you're right or wrong. Right? And the less you look at your P&L, the better. It should almost be a program. I'm getting in here. This is my stop loss. If I lose it, I accept the loss and move on. It didn't work out in terms of probabilities. Okay. So overall, I think to me, this was fairly easy day, just because we know, how they're opening and what they're doing. So it wasn't really complex day. Even though I expected it maybe to, when we came here, I expected this to actually potentially break off of the news that we had, like the the release and the numbers. But hey, they did the opposite, which is typical of them, what they do. And then they just ran it off to the high. And that's, if I was willing to short it here, why wouldn't I not short it here? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
My risk to reward here is, it was tiny compared to, risk reward short here is pretty high. So think about it a little bit more that way when you're trading, and always think about value. It's telling you this is the bottom of the value. You're going to find some buyers from the previous week that are loving the setup, right? They love buying here because they have a good value. Now we broke inside this previous week value area low. So what does that tell you?
We're going down. We're looking for new value.
So there's a high chance we're going to be looking for new value. We know there was value created in this range before, to 39.47, right? That was a previous low. From here, we didn't really agree that we should spend a lot of time here, right? So they gapped it up. Obviously, pretty much, the whole range here got gapped like 4 points, and we lost that gap. We filled it here completely Monday, and then we were struggling here to kind of fill it more. So this is your kind of like Sunday to Monday gap right here. Okay. So I would expect us to go here now, all the way to the bottom at some point. Okay, but let's check the levels and see how the volume profiles finish today, and then we'll know a little bit more. What's interesting about this and this, anyone? I asked you guys yesterday, but I think one piece was missing
They're both
between
D's.
Monday and Tuesday slide. What is it? I
They're-
think somebody nailed it. I'm sorry, I forgot who.
Well,
But let's see if we can get it.
Well, they're both D shapes for one.
All right, keep going.
Um,
So I'm asking between Monday and Tuesday now. What's the difference?
Value area high and lows, made lower lows and lower highs, and we closed.
So what is the pair file?
Hold on, let him finish first, please. Go ahead, Kesa.
And we closed below the what is this? We closed below the POC and outside of the value area, but still inside the range, but above that POC from Friday.
Okay, you're talking about this 2 days.
Yeah.
2 days, you're
So-
outside of the range of the previous day, correct? You're outside of this. And the key point that you pointed it out is you guys have to get used to looking at these value areas. And if the highs are making higher highs, remember in the example in the PowerPoint, when I mentioned it's important to know if the value area high, remember when I said it's making higher high compared to the previous one, or if it's staying flat or dipping below. Do you guys recall how many times I mentioned that on Sunday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned it a lot, right? So here, even if you play it back, you will see that there was not a lot of value built where on this day.
About the previous days.
It was not going over, guys.
Yeah.
If you're not willing to go over here, I mean, there's no way you're going to find value about here. I mean, of course, right? That's 3 points. But there was really.
Shorty, do you still have rows as 200 on your SVP?
I don't know.
Yeah.
150.
So they were not.
It doesn't really change anything, just the viewing that changes.
The peanut butter analogy, they were not willing to buy any peanut butter above the POC. It got rejected.
Yeah, I mean, there was the previous equilibrium price was not seen as a fair price anymore. That's exactly what it means.
Okay.
And if you look at the price action here, right, even though it looks, like a little bit of a irregular D shape, what do you notice about the price action? We mentioned that it's fairly, right, bearish. Didn't we make that conclusion based on the notes from everybody in Discord? I asked you guys about this profile. And you guys said we closed below the POC, right above inside the value area. And if you guys recall, it was what? What would you consider that? Bullish or bearish?
Bearish.
And for the reason because you're outside.
Because it came first it went outside, then it came back in close under the POC.
But is that what this one is?
I'm sorry, I can't read it very good, but
I'll give you guys a second.
Yeah, I'd say it seems to be that case, especially with
It's the neutral extreme day, and that's what we
okay,
said.
yeah.
This is the extreme day. If we close in the D shape, especially you guys see that there was a little peak here, right? And it's not very far off, right, between these two, just a tiny bit an increase in volume between this shelf and that one. And of course, that one gets the nod for the POC. But even if it was this one, it's still bearish because you close really low end on the value, meaning the buyers did not find a lot of value keeping you at the high end.
Yeah.
We had cases like this one. You closed above the POC on a perfect D-shaped distribution. And what happened the next day?
We went up.
You went up.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, you closed below. You should instantly think rejections at POC and value area highs whenever you see something like this. And I'm giving you a really good example of this, that it works. Between this one and this one, it worked. Between this one and this one worked.
Yeah. Really.
What do you expect tomorrow? Just look at now 3 profiles here. KSM, what you started, finish. KSM, you there? Finish
Yes,
what you,
I'm here. Sorry, I didn't hear. What did you say?
you started going into the Friday. Finish the thought that you had on Friday. You analyzed these two. Now what about Friday?
So it's trying to come into the value area from Friday, but we closed right above the POC. But
Correct.
if you break that POC, it could do a 80% from the value area high to the value area low.
Yep. So there's a high chance. I would say there's a very high probability that we're going to go here tomorrow. 39.58. And then if you break this, then you're testing the range low, which was 39.47.
We already tested it.
39.47?
No, 58.
Oh, today? Oh, shit. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say my profile was off. I was like wondering, and then I realized you were on regular trade hours
Okay,
because
I was
we
gonna say
did
this is
test
a
value
really
area
good
high of
just
PD.
now.
No,
Damn.
today trade day
No,
we
this is
basically
a
touched PD value area high. We were right up there.
no, that was at 7 o'clock right here. We came to this level just now.
Yes,
Oh my
sir.
God.
That's what I'm pointing out. And also in terms of the profile, it does kind of change the profile of what we've been discussing because your PD value area high and POC are mislabeled there.
No, I never changed this one.
For Monday or whatever, for Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Monday.
Adjust
Sorry.
this. Don't confuse me more on these
I'm
timelines.
sorry. I'm not trying to. I just noticed the profiles were based on the
You don't
regular
do that,
trade hours.
dyslexic person. Yeah, don't do that. Do not do that.
You usually teach on the ETH, so I was
ETH,
confused.
correct. Okay, so this is gonna be a crucial level. You guys see these two here?
Yeah.
I mean, you have previous week value area low, and you have PD value
Mhm.
area low. If you don't want to trust anything else, watch what happens when we get to this level now. If we're able to get above this PDL, I'm pretty sure they're gonna push it. Because look, now just think scenario of the 3 days. This is amazing stuff. You have 3 day scenario here. The best thing you can do now is grab the 3-day balance and see what happens. So let me hide SVP. Here's you're getting inside the 3-day balance now. If you come here and hold it, what is this then?
Spring.
Say it again.
A spring.
That's exactly it. It's going to be spring. If you hold this, that's the acceptance. You can drive this from here to here for 11 points. 11 points 3 times a day, that's 33 points. Just do it on 2 contracts or 1 contract, you can make some decent money. Okay. Now, but if we get inside here, you guys see how levels are super tight and you have to take profits fairly quickly unless you're confident in what you're seeing in terms of supply and demand and which one's in control. Because right now, there's really not much in control. You're ranging from here to here. You went to the top, you made a lower high, high chance that you're going to come back to this bottom here. I really did not know that we came back to the 39.56. It's not fair that I say it, but I said this would be a really good long opportunity if we do come back to it. Does anyone know a reason why? I would say that.
It was the value low of Friday.
Okay, let's think about it of the peanut butter example. Well, you dumped this price aggressively right here, like before Friday open, correct? As soon as you came back to this level, it's almost like peanut butter guy dropped the price too low and they drove the price, I mean, really, really high, right?
That's where, like, we found value.
Yeah, they were not. I mean, think about supply and demand. At this level, the demand was really overwhelming for peanut butter at this price here. So if I know that, and they came back and accepted it here, right? Towards the end of, here, they accepted it here, and now it's set. What do you think this guy's gonna do? From this guy here, he made equal highs with this one, lower highs compared to this peak. So this guy here means business. So I would expect them to come back here and also defend that level of peanut butter again. They're gonna find value of peanut butter here.
Yeah, that totally makes sense, man.
Yeah.
And you're seeing it you go to Friday and you're looking at it.
Like you just look, hey, what did you guys do? You explore the area outside. And important to note on this profile here, you guys see that these single prints, these are tiny prints, meaning whenever you have a single print like this is one buyer, especially when you look at like when we get into the TPO and you're able to compare. And let's say, this happened at 10:30. That means it would be 2 rows of TPO data. Remember how there's letters like A, B, C, and then to the right? So this would be the second row, and you'd be able to tell how many prints there were at this level, how how many letters below that price occurred, that's how many prints they had.
Wow, that's interesting.
So I would know immediately, hey, this guy's fairly aggressive. He's not going to let this price come in. So that means it's called a tail, right? In this case, we had a really long tail here, but here he also had a small print and he brought it back in value. So I know it's like, oh yeah, you would buy there. Now I was going to say I would buy here with the stop loss slightly below. And I mean, if you look here, you have a nice little shelf that could have been, the value area could have been all the way up to here. Between these two is just at 68. If I change this guy, watch this, to the standard 70, let's see what happens. Does it change? Shifts down to this guy. And where do we bounce? Right inside.
That's amazing, man.
I use 68 for the purpose of standard deviation. If you use 70, you can use 70. It doesn't change price too much, but if you think about it, I'd rather get out a little bit earlier and get out a little bit earlier on the top than see that bounce destroy me sooner.
Hell yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, now that we tested this one, now I will be waiting for a rejection. And if PDL in this case does not stand in the way here, PDL is going to be right here now. Well, never mind. PDL is right here now. Oh, shit. They sliced it like it was never there. So this is your PDL, and then this will be your PDH. So 403 is your pivot to the upside for now, or call it 405. You need to get out of this value area here, 405.25. I wouldn't go long till that's taken. Watch what happens when we come here now. We're going to get there. We're going to have a little pullback here. There's a reason we're going to have a pullback here. Anyone know why?
Looks like almost a double
Hidden
level.
supply.
Like the PD, very
Watch
low.
what happens right here.
There's resistance there.
There's a hidden supply here. They're not going to just break this one easy through. They might have a little pullback all the way to here, I would think. If I was to play this right now, I would think they're going to go somewhere around here. If they can't hold this, of course, they go lower. But if they can hold this, then they can go to this one. Think about it. The path for them, they ran it from this one. I mean, this is pretty good. This is, 16 points, right? They can't, they can continue here. We're after hours, but it would make more sense. You have a pullback, you have this pullback, pullback, and then the last burst all the way to here. And if you measure these moves, they should be pretty identical, right? Between this one and this one. And we'll just
Yeah,
enable.
they'll even look even from here.
So if you guys look here, between this move here, the 200% would be here, right? Between this move, and then if we add the 16618, guess what? We're right there, 127. So I think this will be a range of a bounce right here and right here. And you see us rejecting that secret supply now. So, and I don't ever use 200. Okay. So let's see what happens. I do expect a rejection here. I don't think we're gonna just fly through this imbalanced candle.
Rejection up there. You said around 406, 406.25. Is that what you said?
405. We need to break 405 for upside.
Okay.
I know why. I think it just froze. Trying to find this candle. Was it 30-minute imbalance candle? Yeah. Here's your 30-minute imbalance candle here. This one is the one that broke. I would use this right here. Well, watch this area here. There's too much in this area for them to cross it easy. I'll probably, if, by the time we're done with the session, if they're not here, I'll probably place some orders here for rejection at this level. Because from the imbalance candle, the body to body, it's indicating it's going to be most likely in this golden pocket here. And that's also the pocket that I have. So does this make sense to everyone? At least the price action explanation. And don't be afraid to use, like, creatively, the 3-day balance. I can use a 3-day balance here. This is from Friday. I'm sorry, this is Thursday here. This is Sunday. So here's your kind of Monday, Tuesday, And then here's your current. So don't be afraid to use these, kind of freedomly. Like, hey, I want to see what's the 3-day balance. You grab this and you see what the 3-day balance is, right? I mean, this is not the only way you can do it. I think you can use PVP as well. If you type in 3 days and you enable it, here's your 3-day balance. You got back inside, POCs here. So it's kind of the same story as if you did it the other way, right? It's just that you get to see it differently if you have different color scheme or whatever. I simply would just grab it from here to here and see the same story. So now you know at least this level here is your value area high. If you're able to break above that, right, and come back for a retest, that's a go long level. Psychologically, 4,000 will be big. And if you break this level, come back for a retest, you're going to get this 415. You get 15 points. And this morning, I gave you guys 2 plays. Does anyone remember what they were?
Long on initial balance low, and
Be careful. I don't think I said that. I mean, in the notes before market opened. I gave you guys 2 plays. Anyone remember?
4015.
Short PDPOC.
Mm-hmm. That was the idea, right? And those 2 plays could have netted you 30 points both ways. And I'm no different than you guys are. It's just that I trust myself at my levels. And you guys want to trust my levels. You guys need to trust your own levels. Whether you take my teachings or you combine it with something else, just don't overcrowd the chart. Like I've seen some charts from some of you that you sent to me. Well, I know why you can't make a decision. I mean, you add every single POC that exists in 30 days and your chart looks like a rainbow of colors. For me, this is a lot, right? So that's why I automatically switch. I have this and I'm just using this to know where are we in terms of value. I'm not using this for anything else, believe it or not. I want to know where the levels are. And when I see the level, let's say 3993 here, I'm just looking at here, what does it line up with, right? Does it line up with the level? In this case, now that we adjusted it, it lines up perfectly with this level, right? Because that was value high, so this is kind of cheating now. But I'm looking at this price action, I'm comparing here, and I'm like, okay, I see the candles, I see the volumes picking up. And I'm literally talking to myself when I'm quietly trading. Like if you were to go inside my mind and kind of print it out, like caption it, you'd be laughing. I'm like, okay, fucker, like what are you gonna do here? Come on, tell me, are you gonna go higher? Are you gonna close below? Okay, you're not making higher. Like I literally tell myself a story as the candles are building. How many people saw this right here? Watch this. How many retailers do you guys think saw this and took it? I don't blame them. You guys see that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a perfect, in terms of bull flag, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
You go here, you're going to get 14 points.
And it rejected twice there before.
And here you got 10 points. If they had a measured move, they probably anticipated maybe here, which would have been 13. So 14 would have been somewhere around here. But if you're playing and you're conservative and you manage your risk, that's all you have to do. You can catch this move if you play the bull flags. These, my preferred way to play it, and Drew knows this, and many of you know it. I don't personally like to play these bull flags, especially not on like 3-5 minutes, because there's a lot of false breakouts, and it's the least profitable pattern. If you guys do statistics, bearish engulfing candles do much better than any of these patterns. So here, could they have played it? Yeah. I mean, how many retailers took profit here? Probably not many, right? And then they're like, okay, we're consolidating. And this is where your mind starts messing with you, right? If you guys read Trading in the Zone or any other psych books, they're like, okay, now you try to think the market is listening to you and doing something in your favor. We were like, okay, man, I'm not going to sell here. We're consolidating. We're going to do what? we're gonna
Break
go
the
higher,
top.
and we're
Yeah.
gonna go to 40.24.
Yeah.
Right? And that's when you guys get in trouble. And then it comes here and you're like, yeah, man, it broke out and we're going to retest and we're going to go higher. And what does a retailer do or a typical person does here is they re-add or call average down, because this contract now lost. If you bought it here, that contract gone. Do you know why?
It's lost about 50%.
Decay. Data.
It's called decay, guys. It lost an hour and 20.
Right.
Remember the time opportunity?
Yep.
Your opportunity to sell was here. Your opportunity to buy here might not be there now. Your opportunity to buy based on value should be somewhere low. If you're buying here, it's almost like you're buying something that's at the end of the cycle. Did you guys ever listen to Warren Buffett about Snickers?
Yeah.
Don't think
Anyone?
I will.
He said, if let's say you go to a grocery store and you want to have a Snickers bar, right? And the guy at the gas station is like, hey man, I don't have a Snickers bar, but I have a 7-Eleven bar. The 7-Eleven bar is like Snickers bars, but it's 50 cents cheaper. But you really want a Snickers bar, what do?
You pay more for the Snickers bar.
You leave the store, and if you want the value for your buck,
Go
you're
look
gonna
at
go to a fucking store that has a Snicker bar.
it. Yeah.
So as an investor, there's a moral of that. There's like a key into it. If you want to get something and you want to buy something, you want to get the value out of it. I would not pay 5 times the price for a Snickers bar. Then it changes, right? There's a level in human mind of a threshold level that changes, the elasticity of a product. Good companies, right? Like really, really good companies, they have the ability to increase the price of a product, but not impact the market share of their product. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So now think about some companies that you guys were thinking about investing, like Netflix. Like you guys know I hate Netflix. And it's not that I hate them,
Yeah,
I
we know.
hate the way they manage. Think about this. They increased the product. How many times they increased the price for you guys lately? Since 2012, how many times have they increased price? Used to pay $8.99 for Netflix.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay, we're at $20 now.
Yeah.
And they're gonna start adding ads. Okay. So now as a customer, right, what value are you getting more from Netflix than you did before when you paid half the price?
You're getting a lot less value.
So I'm getting a lot less value.
For
Your
more money.
margins are getting down. Your market share is going down. Think about the investment now.
No,
Can
it didn't.
Netflix afford to lower its price but increase the dominance in the market share?
Don't think so.
I don't think so either.
No.
For one, the content creation is getting more expensive. I mean, so if they, if they don't do something, they're going to be priced out unless you have a lot of cash. Companies that inflation periods like we are now, the companies that have a lot of cash, and it's not only inflation, you want to invest companies that make cash. I don't care how much equity you have. I mean, guys, here's your example of how to find investments or how not to find investments. I brought this before. A company lost 99% of its market cap. Guys, this was at $400. And it went down to $3. Somebody thought that maybe it was a good idea that they buy some here. Right? You see these green bars? They're buying here. Right?
Which company was this?
CVNA.
Oh, okay.
But the point is, CVNA is nothing more but what? Do they produce something? The question I want you to ask yourself, if CVNA was to go out of the business, how would it impact your life, or would you care?
No.
You care? Not at all.
Okay. I know there's some Coke fanatics. If the Coke was to go out of the business, would you be impacted? Some would be, some would not be. Believe it or not, you don't even know the portfolio of their products. Most of you guys just think it's Coke. They also make carpets. You probably have a carpet at home.
And plus, they make other products.
Yeah, they have a lot. So the likelihood of
Yep.
something, Coke increased the price by like 23% just in 2 years. Everybody said it's going to go down, but their sales went up, their demand went up. So I ask you, would you invest in the Coke or Netflix?
Coke for sure.
So when you think about businesses and shares and buying, and I'm not giving you advice, I'm just giving you teachings on how to look at it. You want to find that Snickers and buy the Snickers if the price is fair. And what Warren Buffett says, how he started his business way back, if you guys look into it, he said, the way I found businesses, I will look for a cigarette. What do you call those buds that's left over from the cigarette? They had a tiny little bit left, just for enough puff so I can get the cigarette back to grow, and then I would sell the business. So he looked for distressed companies with poor management. He would get rid of the management and get the cigarette to grow a little bit, get a little bit more puffs, and then there will be another buyer that would find value for his company and offload it.
Smart dude, man.
And then he says, I no longer look for those businesses. Now I wait for distressed times and I buy good companies at fair prices. So his model before to grow money was distress companies. Now he waits for distressed times to buy good companies at cheap valuations. And why should you be any different? When people tell me that, hey, I'm going to buy Roblox. I'm sorry, but like Roblox gets shut down tomorrow. What's your biggest deal that you're going to have to tell your kid that Roblox is gone? How many of you guys will cry if the Roblox is gone tomorrow?
I haven't even used it, so.
I'm never even logged in. I just blocked it all in my house. Whoever attempts to look at it, even any IPs of Roblox is blocked. But that's what I'm saying. So the products that you want is the ones first they're gonna make cash. Second, that the people fall in love with, and it's hard to replace. Like for instance, Apple. If I was to say, hey, Apple is gonna go out, how many of you would never switch to Samsung from Apple?
I'd probably go.
I wouldn't. I love Apple.
Well, you love Apple because it's the ease of use, and another fact is that you're a human and you don't like to change stuff.
Yeah.
Right? You know how it works, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So you're willing to maybe, you're less willing to, buy more often when the times come in. But as the good times come in, you're going to be like, okay, maybe it's time to upgrade an Apple phone. Let's say we hit a recession till next quarter. Let's say it's projected to last till 2024 Q2. If we hit a recession, not many people will be looking to get an iPhone upgrade, but those people that call them frugal and saving, when the good times come, they're gonna be like, man, I can reward myself with what? With a phone.
The phone, yeah.
And if you guys think about the cycle between 2000, call it 8, the recession that we had, and like 2020, that's like, call it 10 years. A lot of people were driving old cars back then. In that period of time, a lot of people had, if you guys remember how many bankruptcies we had between 2008 and like 14, there was a lot of bankruptcies that occurred,
Yeah.
right? And usually to clear a bankruptcy off your record, it takes about, I believe 4 to 5 years. So if you put that into perspective, 2020 becomes a year where a lot of those people that suffered before because of their poor decision to buy expensive cars over their head, well, guess what they're doing in 2020? Buying cars. And if you look at the Fed data, for instance, right? The most cars were bought by people between 24 and, like, I believe 32. And the highest delinquency rate, what do you think is the age group?
The highest what?
Delinquency rate, meaning they can't make payments on the cars.
Oh,
Or the younger ones.
It's the same group.
Makes sense.
Because you're not buying. So right now, a smart person, like I'm looking at cars, but I went to look at a car with a dealer and I didn't want to, I don't like to argue with them. I would just tell them, but like, hey, I can offer you 60K cash for this $90,000 car. Call me when you're ready. And I'll just literally walk away and no hard feelings. He can laugh, I'll laugh too, but I'll see who'll call first. You that you have another 250 of them sitting on your lot and you can't sell them, or me that I have 2 cars paid off and I'm just maybe needing a car. Pretty sure you're gonna call me.
You got the leverage.
Exactly. And that's how you should trade on the stocks and even intraday levels, right? Especially when we find these levels of value. It's literally all about value. I don't care what you fucking call it, nothing against any other strategies. You can call it breakers, whatever. There's only 3 components in the market: price, time, and volume. The rest is irrelevant because those 3 components create value. It's how you label it, what the fuck you call it, doesn't matter. As long as you understand what the value is, I promise you do well. If you think value on a 3-day balance was buying here long, then we have long ways to go in terms of teaching you something. If you grab this, even if you grab 2 days, if you didn't have this day, I'm cheating a little bit. So here's this, you broke this, what happened? You rejected it, you came again, and you rejected it again.
Yep.
And your previous day value area high was never in question here on this day. If you see where the values are and how you react to them, then you just go along with the value and see if the buyers are showing up there. Sometimes, of course, you can wait for candle confirmations, right? Which is preferred unless you're using some tape 2, like level 2 reading. That would kind of, provide a little bit more confidence in your levels. But there's no reason not to kind of consider the value and the buying and where we are, right? Because you want to make sure that, what you're trading and what you're seeing makes sense. And I mean, my purpose for you guys is to see the value first in what I'm teaching, but for you guys to reflect your teachings onto the chart and see where the hell is the value and how are the people kind of, perceiving the value. Until you guys start kind of talking to yourself and seeing these develop, and really talk to yourself. And I don't know if Dirty Max is on, when, I've spent some time with him, teaching him stuff. I mean, he would hear me talking to this talking like, are you normal? And it was just something that worked for me. I'll be like, okay, what are you going to do? You want to find value here. You just try building a story to yourself and see how it works. And always ask yourself, would you buy the Snickers or peanut butter here? And find the analogy if it makes sense. If the peanut butter was at 39.56, why would I buy peanut butter here now? Like, in what world should I do that? Like 10 minutes ago, it was here.
Yeah.
This is the retail FOMO here that's going to be buying this till they come to this level. Okay. So, I mean, this is fairly easy. If you're able to, I would say below 39.56, you get a tight little range here. You could trade that. It's not my cup of tea to play this tight area because one candle can really burst through all of this, right? So it's not something that I would look for. If you're able to reclaim, the PD value area low here with a nice setup, I'll be interested maybe, to kind of consider long. Just know this whole consolidation from the 21st. So you're talking about from pretty much 7 days right here. Your value area low is at 39.81. Your POC is at 39.83. Now you see all these levels stacked. You have a nice zone for rejection here. You have a nice zone for rejection here. So if you're, let's say, getting in at 76, me personally, I would have a stop loss above if I was to short this one, depending on how we arrive there, right? I just don't think we're going to arrive there soon. I would place a stop loss somewhere above here, and if I get stopped out, that's fine. Right? Then I know the cumulative POC is coming up, and it's lined up with PD value area high. So my story would be, hey, if you get in here and you show, nice volume pickup, nice break, I will play the retest of this, be cautious of this level here, 39.81, or one could wait for what? That's a lot safer for some of you. What's the area that provides the best reward with least? Be careful how you answer. Do not throw shit out. Think.
Personally, I would say like the previous week value area high because it seems to be a strong high.
So you would wait to go long all the way up to here?
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant short.
Okay. Where
If
would you
want
go long tomorrow for, intraday trade?
Most likely if we have a retest at the previous day value area low. Like if we break in and then come back for a retest.
Okay. So here, I'll draw the scenarios that you guys are talking about, and then I'll tell you which one I think is right. Not saying yours is wrong. So you're saying somewhere like this, and your stop loss, I'm assuming, would be somewhere, maybe. Say it again.
Below those wicks, like 39.76, maybe.
Here?
Yeah. A little higher. Yeah, somewhere there. Yeah.
Okay. So here, and you would target what?
Honestly, I would target first the PD POC, and then maybe if I want to keep a runner out, keep it for previous day value area high.
Okay. Who wants to critique this one?
I don't want to.
You are with
But I
3
would
days or 7 days value area outside that. So essentially, that's a big spot for you to get rejected. So ideally, if I were to go long, I will wait for price to go inside value area low of that consolidation and then come back for retest.
Okay. So you're waiting something like this, maybe like this?
Yes, like this.
Okay. Anyone else?
I would wait.
I'm waiting for
get
PD
to the
POC.
POC, and then retest on the POC and go to the PD value area. I can't the blue line.
This is my favorite trade. Does anyone want to think why? Just think why.
Not enough meat. PD
points.
value area low in POC.
I have
I
a
understand.
3-to-1 trade.
Yep.
Risk and reward.
Yep.
If I was to go long here, always ask yourself, if I was to go along here, I have a high chance, really high chance to be rejected here.
Yep. Yep.
If I was to go here, there's a high probability this is not going to happen. Okay. If I was to go on a retest of the PD value, call it here, and put something here, KSN, to me, this is a really low probability trade. It's too risky. There's too many big levels in between. You have a 7-day value area low. That means I would ignore 7 days of value for 1 day of value. Think about that now. When you think about it that way, you're ignoring 7 days versus 1 day. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It wouldn't make sense for me to do that. Because these guys here were able to push it out with pretty decent sized candles. I mean, remember what I told you about stacking candles? You see many bodies here on, let's look at 10 minutes. You see many bodies overlapping here on this fall?
No.
No.
Not many, guys. They're not really overlapping. So this was a pretty clean move. Then you look at higher time frame candles, let's say 65. This is pretty big. Nice, these are 3 bearish candles. There's a name for them. Okay. So now the reason why, I'm just giving you my scenario so you guys can at least understand the reasoning behind it. If I was to go here, and let's say I put my stop loss somewhere in between, right? And this is my target PD value area high. Where was that trade?
Yeah, that'd be my best bet.
I can manage this to be a 3-1 trade if I wanted to here. I have probably highest chance to go from POC to value area high. And the reason why is for all the other factors that you guys said. You reclaim PD value area low, you reclaim previous week value area low, and I'm just playing the upside of it. While you guys are playing all the shit show in between. Look at the price action in between here.
Just too much.
Shorty,
Look at
how
this.
do you decide the stop loss in this? Because that's what I'm struggling with right now.
So in this case, right, if I was to look at this and POC first, I would see how we open, right? Tomorrow, let's say we come in here, I don't know, magically we get there somehow. I will look at, you know, the volume. So you have some wicks here previously swept, right, from here. And then if I look to the left, there was some up here as well. So this here, and then I would draw this guy from here to here. And I would look, you know, where's the area where they're probably going to hold this? If I was to manage this, I could manage it something like this. And this is 2-to-1 trade. I would probably not want a 2-to-1 trade for 10 points. Right?
Shorty, is there a
I
chance
want a little bit more reward. So I would probably manage it, cut the half of this. I would go here and just depend on the levels, how we open, how the day starts. But this would be the ideal. I would want at least 3 reward here. So something like this. This is what I want. This is my entry.
Shorty, is there a chance they go over the POC, come back down under
Yeah,
the
that's
POC?
the ideal.
and
I
go
mean,
up?
that's what you want.
Yeah, okay.
You want the retest if you can get it, right?
Yeah.
Because if you look at the price action from POC every time, boom, you at least achieved that one. You went here below it, you achieved that one, and then you had some tests to it.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why I would want this trade here. For me, this is a good trade. What about short?
Below PD value area low. At that time, you would have cleared a lot of levels in between.
You want a short here?
Yeah.
Okay. And I would say probably something like this. I'll have to delete this for a moment. It's confusing me. I thought that was my different level. I would put it right inside this guy here. Is there a reason why?
Because of previous day, yeah, consolidation value area low.
Yeah, this is my 7-day value area low.
Yeah.
Right, this starts from the 21st all the way to current. Okay, so that's the reason why I would put it there. And then, I mean, what would you target?
PDL first, I guess.
Why not? You can take the PDL. That's pretty close. I think you can live with that. 3-to-1, and you enjoy the trade. What would be the most ideal to short? I know this is a good one. Give yourself another scenario where we run up, we do a short cover rally, then you lose a certain level, and then you short there. If you're to rip and you lose it, where do you short?
40-15.
Okay.
Where's the golden
PD
pocket of
value
that
area
high
high.
to low?
Which area do you want?
The most
From-
recent high to low? No,
So
not
this
that
one
one.
here?
That one. Yeah.
I'll give you this level here. There you go. So hold on, let me remove this one. This one's an important level for a moment. So there goes this one. Why is it 61.8? Where the hell is it? Oh, it's not checked. I'm like, dude, where is it? There's your zone here.
I say if we
Isn't it
lose the
be the
PD
other way
value
around?
area high.
Oh, never mind.
Say it again.
If we go up and then we lose the PD value area high, that becomes bearish again.
That's a good point. So does everybody understand what he's talking about?
80%, if they run up pre-market, that becomes 80% during regular hours from the top towards bottom.
Exactly. Let's say we run tonight and we go up here and we see that we are still struggling at this area and we come here and then you
That's why
lose
we're
it.
short.
Guys, 80% probability you're going to get it.
Yeah.
So this is a pretty good short. Let's say we go here. Let's say we go up to here. You know, they dance, they reject here. They go up to here. What about now?
Retest of PDPOC.
This is your short. You don't have anything to debate. This is your short. And you would target what? So this would be your here. You would go from 83 to 77 at the points I like. I usually like 10 or more points. If you guys haven't noticed it. If I have to take 6, 7, 8, I'll take it. If it's like a choppy day, but I prefer to get 10. So this would be a good short. And I mean, this is a zone here. I would not, excuse my language, but I would not fuck around and be like, yeah, I'm gonna wait for PD value area low with PV value previous week low being there.
Mm-mm.
You know, this is a zone where you tap anywhere and you're closing. You don't want to test an area like that that has major levels and hope you're gonna fall through it. I'd rather, and I took a couple of shorts today when I was trading, right? And I think I took some longs, believe it or not, even like here, quick long, got in, I think like 35 bucks per contract. I had one, traded here and then basically collected my money and then I was ready to go short. You can do that, right? If you have the ability, but my expectations are low, right? Whenever I'm trading like that, I know my room is low, my, you know, RR is pretty bad. So I take what they give me and then I switch and then my RR was great. So same here. If you're gonna do this, your stop losses, you know, if you look at these shelves from previous day, you know, if you're shorting here, your stop loss is here. You're giving it like, what is this, 75 cents to catch 7 points. Now that trade doesn't sound so bad, right? If I have to give it 4 points risk to make 7 points, that's no. Like I would never do that. Doesn't make sense to do that, right? I did not mean to do that. So this is our ideal if you reclaim long. And somebody might say, yeah, but you're gonna miss this run here. Well, definitely you can go get it. You go get it from here to here, and I'll get it from here to here. You don't have to be in for the whole move. Remember, we're tiny little guys in the market. We're not gonna be moving the market. Your job is to grow the account and process in the system. Later on, instead of trading one contract, let's say you're trading 30 contracts and catching 10 points. You do the math, and that's quite a bit of money, right? If I was trading futures, I'll be ready to short here.
You short at the green line there?
Oh, well, we have to check the volume here, but I needed this one to be a little bit bigger here.
Yeah.
On volume. This guy needed to show a little bit more power. I just hate after hours volume. This one was pretty increased volume with the opposite candle. And then this one had the biggest volume, biggest bar, and pretty much like lowest volume. There's a little bit of anomalies here, and I would think, yeah, this is not a bad short if we break this level right here, 3971. If you're able to break this, most likely a good short. Okay. So does this make sense, the scenarios? At least does it help you guys visualize at least how I look at things in terms of using the levels and kind of using the space in between them so I know where and how they can go?
Things are getting more clearer every day, Shorty.
Okay.
Makes sense. Especially with the risk reward.
Yeah.
Okay.
The way it's moving, the way you're explaining, the way the market is moving and where it's rejecting the value areas, that makes a lot of sense, man. I was so confused with that.
Okay, well, that's good.
Oh,
And
Shorty,
this
could
should
you-
be just a rejection on many levels here. Look at this. What is this now? It's identical in your PowerPoint.
demand supply.
Support resistance flip.
Yeah,
Yes,
just a
that's
pure
right.
flip here. This should be a rejection here, clear as day. They might push it here for a test. As soon as they slice through it, you short it. That's pretty much what they did today on the initial balance high. If you guys
Yeah,
saw
they
it,
did. Yeah.
they pushed it higher, and I think, don't quote me on it. Where's my magic chart?
Yeah, you were saying, watch it. Here's where the long traps are gonna happen.
So this was your IB balance. This is the one where I shorted immediately here. So they came back and here, I mean, I did not draw this, but this is the short I took. As soon as they went up, and the way I saw this in my mind, this was a consolidation. I had this short, I took that off, and then I re-entered here and I drove all the way to the 67 or 70, whatever level was PD value area. I don't know where it was now. It was not 67, it was like 70 something. 4. I don't know what the PD value area low was. But this was the short I took. You broke it. You came back retest. I mean, a really good setup, and then kind of re-add here. Drove that one down, took that one off, all the way down. Usually when you fail at a key level to hold it like this, it's a good sign. And that was a quick one. Quickly lost. That was speed. Okay. Let's see. Favorite. The video. We are very close to that level. I mean, we didn't just make it there yet. No, CK was waiting for these were the 2 levels I would have watched for it. And you guys know these are just. So usually if I don't have a clean, it'll be something like this.
Probably already tested it. The alert never went off. It was a couple of points away, just like Netflix.
Yeah, this one came very close, and I didn't have enough unless I justified this whole area here of consolidation, then it would have hit it, right? And that's, sometimes as a trader, right, when you see something like this and fundamentally that's wrong, right? I mean, this stock's been going up, right, in price like a lot from the lows, right? From October, I think it gained a lot, I think over 100%, right? 122% it gained here. Honestly, really had no reason to do that. I mean, from volume perspective, if you look at it here, the green days are, they're growing. They're buying it. And then you check on like 7 days here. And look at this run up here. Going down.
Yeah,
Here,
going down while it's going up.
watch this. This candle confirms it. This one's like, something's off.
Yep.
This one is telling you no longer institutions involved. This one here is telling you be afraid.
Yeah, look out.
Absorption.
Yeah. And then this one here is, this one's not an anomaly. You guys know that, right? This is not an anomaly here. There's no anomaly here. And this is not an anomaly. What you're going to witness now is going to be a dump to 50% of this run up here.
The last one is an anomaly, right, Shorty?
So this one here, no. It's
Okay.
low volume, low candle.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't care. And look what's happened shortly after is this paid off. What do you guys think these guys are going to do that accumulated? Now they have an offering. I think it was $10 billion that I saw.
Yeah.
It's going to get spicy on this one here. So I'm pretty sure AMD should be hurting. Did they dump after hours too? Oh, yeah.
Already just on Nvidia, the inverse stock is NVDS.
They have an
In
inverse?
case.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah,
That's
I
what I
don't.
do these days rather than earning money on premiums. Just buy freaking shares.
I think we need to create a spreadsheet of these inverse, just so we have it.
Okay, do that.
If you have time, dude, this would be great, dude.
I'll start adding
This
whatever I know.
is gonna pop. It's gonna pop like 30% tomorrow. And it's 1.25. Yeah, I mean, I would sell it here on our socks tomorrow. I don't know if anyone's still in it.
I
I'm
am.
still in it. Oh, we should be getting a nice little boost here soon. Not the best volume for us here. This one was good. This one was not so good. Weekly also not the best. So let's see if NVIDIA helps our case. But the monthly looks very good. So I honestly think I can get 50 plus on this. But that's just me. And I'll probably hold it till at least I hit 100%. I didn't put a lot in this, so I have a little bit more room. Any other desired stocks? It's useless stock. When is their day? Tomorrow?
UNG.
Yeah, I think it's March 1st.
No, March 1st. Okay, so this one is a prime example here of a flip. Honestly, I think this is ready to be coming back down. So I'm already in puts. I might just add a few more, add another 10 pack on it. I think anything in between here, you guys look at the support, I think it's looking more like 160 just based on fibs. And you know, we don't have to use fibs for all of it. I know for a fact, if you look here, this is a volume profile. I would look to short something. Once it gets inside this value area, what do you guys think happens?
Quick
80%.
down to the
Oh,
POC.
remember, people are not going to find, that means no value here. Where do you have to test for value?
Higher.
To find buyers, you have to go
Oh
lower.
yeah.
So high chance we go back to it. I would say first level would be, you have this 171. I think that's doable. And probably next, I would say this is going to be done here February. I would say mid-April. When is the earnings? Okay, yeah, mid-April, you're here or below. But eventually you're gonna come back here. Because what happens in this earnings? Does anyone recollect what I warned you about?
I think I
Hey,
remember.
margins.
Yeah.
What did they do recently with the car prices?
Oh, they made them cheaper, from what I remember.
Okay,
And other
and
people.
Tesla's earnings showed that their margin was, they're losing 4 or 5% quarter over quarter. That did not include the price drop. Okay, and if it's true that inflation is higher to make cars, chips, raw materials, wouldn't that already, like they've shown, eaten some of your margins? And now you're saying your demand is so high, but we're going to lower the price of the product. When do you lower the price of a product? We just talked about it.
When you have too much of it and can't get rid of it.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So all this right here. Good luck, retail. I hope you guys are. I hope you guys are ready. Whoever bought shares here. And this is the point that's wrong with people. You're not willing to buy shares here. You're willing to buy shares here. I know it's post the fact, but I did buy shares here at 125. Unfortunately, I got stopped out. But at least I attempted, but my risk management stopped me out. But if you're buying it here, I mean, where's your stop loss? If you're buying at the retest of 200, where the hell is your stop loss?
Right there, where the line
Right
is.
100?
where your stop loss was.
Not much.
That's crazy.
So this is a good trade. I mean, think about it. This is when you think about trading, you know, let's say you're wanting this, where the hell do you want it to go? So if this is your stop loss, I mean, in order to make money on this trade, oh, yeah, we just have to go at 415 to make it 3-1.
Jeez.
Super casual.
I mean, you know, this is,
That's it.
I mean, think about it, guys. From here to here, it's only 113%.
Yeah, that's just not worth it, man.
Yeah, so this here, of course, went 100%, but from 100 to 200, now it needs to go 200 points.
Because things change, right?
Yeah, the percentages change, numbers change.
Yeah.
So I just don't know, you know, but this is setting up. Once we break this value area high, I would say on a daily here, I think you guys should have a lot of alerts popping here. I don't care what level it has, but bull flag, bear flag, close below here on 4 hours, I would even say. Things get spicy. This is gonna be probably the short of this month. Right here. What else you guys have? Somebody said UNG, I believe. It's not ready to go yet. They're I think they're gonna accumulate this excuse me, for a longer period of time. Unless this breaks 9, I think you could catch it. I don't know what your goal is, but if you break 9 here, I would say whatever this level here is. 930, you have 981. This is a slow more. If you're looking for options on this, it's painful to watch. If you thought, watching SPX do the paint dry thing, well, this one can surprise you. They can move on slow.
I like selling options on this. Good
If
money.
you have
Easy
shares, yeah,
money.
that's good. Sell covered calls or, whatever.
Yep.
It's not bad. But this is tomorrow, well, I guess today was your month end, right? So, there should have been a lot of balancing, and we'll see tomorrow, right? If they have cash and you see aggressive buying and then like a ETF or a rotation happening, it's no, worth noting where is it going. I think semis are gonna be outflow for the most part, right? I would think that they're gonna take a little room down. I do think natural gas is at a good price at this price. I also watched XLC for some time, if you guys remember. I'm still watching it. I did not get in here. I want to come back here inside the range right here, and my point, is going to be somewhere here. I want to get it somewhere around 50, and I'm going to start accumulating a little bit of shares here. See, I'm not going to buy a lot at first, but I'm going to start buying some here. All right, and there's a couple of other stocks that you should be watching here. So this is our Clorox, Procter and Gamble. I'm watching this, but this is more of a bearish setup here in case we decide to actually clean this. I would watch this somewhere around here. I think it was 130 level that we wanted short below. Coke, I'm interested, but then I ask you, would you buy Coke here? Anyone?
At what level did you say for
Right
Coke?
now, would you buy Coke right now?
Nope.
I'd wait, personally.
There's no reason, guys. I mean, the only way to buy is impatience, right? If you're gonna buy it, give some, at least buy it here. If you're gonna buy it, that's $5 cheaper. I think it needs to return to the mean, and the mean would be somewhere around $40 to $44 for me. So it has a little bit to drop before it comes back. I don't know how Oxy did. I meant to add some shares. Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna add shares.
Could we also look at CVS? I think I had an alert trigger for that one today. I'm like 73, I think, or something.
Yeah, so this one's gonna go down. If it breaks 57, and we have an alert on that one, I would think has room to dump. And then I would think somewhere at 50, like this range here, we get buyers. I mean, a buyer called Warren Buffett. This would be a pretty good zone for me for shares. I'd look for that. CVS or CVX?
CVS, like the drugstore or pharmacy.
Oh, it's dipping. It's coming up on a nice level though. It's coming up. 80, 81. We're inside this value area. I would expect they're also gonna test this. So 80, 79 is a good range. I don't know. Did they have a lawsuit or I'm thinking about somebody else? What would they have a lawsuit for? I don't think so. This is not bad. They pay dividends too. This is not bad here. I would look. You guys recall my favorite? Anyone? Guys remember this level?
80s.
Isn't it funny when you come here and you see it come to a penny on that large of a profile? But look at the bounce. Almost $3. Well, $2, sorry, bounce. So now if you lose this level, you get in a little bit of trouble. You know, then you have this 86, you lose this. And I would say you don't have a lot of gaps to fill under, but I'll let you guys be. Look here. I mean, it has gaps literally all the way to the beginning to like 60. So, yeah. And I took some short here. If you guys remember, I was pretty heavy short here on Baba. No more. What else do you guys want? Let me check chat. LR, CX. LR, CX. Research. Okay, so I see what the retail is seeing. They're waiting for the bull flag. Seems like it completed the ABC pattern here. Not quite. If you're playing a bounce from here, you can definitely go to about 550 to get here. If it breaks this level where it's very close right now, this would be the level to short. That's what I would watch. So 473-ish. If it does, man, it has a lot of, excuse me, a lot of downside. So safer bet would be let it come back inside of this value area because this is a really poor structure on the profile. I mean, it seems like a lot of volume is happening here at the top now. If you guys look at this, it seems like majority of it's there. So it's almost like the POC would shift if we get another spike in volume. So this has a high chance. I mean, you should set a couple of alerts here to here. If you lose 473, really high chance you get $13 drop or whatever that is. And then if you lose this, you know, you have some demand here. So you're thinking about 414. So you're thinking about $50 drop from here to here. And I'm pretty certain if you're to drop here, lose that level, and you're going to 324, which would be about $80 drop. So in terms of value, let's see. What do you guys think? Is this a good value buy here for a long-term swing?
Where it currently is, definitely not.
Yeah, there's no value here for me. I would not, unless I'm some crazy swing trader, I'd buy long here to drive to here off of the trend line. But they really like to fuck with people on the trend line buy sometimes, especially on like a weekly. The volume is actually bullish, right? So there's some volume pickup here. You know, this volume candle is confirming at the supply. So high probability from volume perspective, you get a bounce here. And I would target 50% of this move if I was to play this, just to be on a safe side. So that would be 510. If you break this level, the highs of the 2 days, 493. So you have 500 level, which would be somewhere here. And then this one. So, and a stop loss below 473. So, I mean, you have to keep a really tight stop loss on this. I don't even know what this company is, Josh. Sounds like some bio or something. I know NVAX got sent back to Earth. 330 to $9. Okay, so there has to be a new COVID strain coming up here soon. Within 3 weeks, we're gonna have another bio weapon or some bio shit in the news. Right?
Maybe some more trains, sadly.
Something's gonna happen soon with COVID-like shit.
Oh man, don't say that.
Well, just telling you what the chart says.
Moderna did have news about like they're planning to like release like mRNA style vaccines for cancer.
Thanks. Rather die from cancer. Yeah, this is a right. So this is your real estate. I'm telling you what I would do personally. If I had a ton of shares of this, I would sell some calls on this. Most likely would sell some, you know, covered calls. Do you have more than 100 shares? Sunflower?
Sorry, what'd you say?
Do you have more than 100 shares of this?
No, less than that. I'm just trying to get it for the dividend. I've been accumulating it.
Yeah.
I would say like maybe 20 or so. Not too much.
Okay. All right, good. Don't panic. It's gonna make lower lows soon.
All right, that's what I thought. That's why I wanted to ask. I'm trying to get some lower.
So sometimes it's not bad to offload some stuff you have if you can get a better entry. Your ideal entry was, you know, here. Well, God damn it. Your entry was here, right, in this zone. And usually when you see value area and this like super tight like this, draw the whole box here, like off of that, right? This is a super tight range. You see the consolidation. We came back here at 54. That was a good price. Sometimes it's not bad to offload, take some trimmings from here to here, even though if you got dividend, unless you're holding, you know, a long-term portfolio, then that's totally different.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you that because I've been holding it because of the dividend. I plan to hold it for, you know, let's call it 10 years or so like that. So I wasn't sure, you know, should I sell it? Because I have my average is around like 62. So it's kind of around that area, but I feel like it's going to take a dip, like you said.
I see it taking a dip here just because there's not a lot of volume on buying here. It doesn't seem like they're buying. And you think about, you know, real estate. What do you think is going to happen to real estate in the next 6 to 9 months?
Yeah, it's not looking too good.
So, and if people are not making payments, and I don't know how their portfolio in the like this one is structured, like what they own, but I don't know, you could take a look at it and then kind of look at some delinquency rates, whatever the market they're in, whether they're in commercial or I don't know where they are. But this is, for me, this is a pure sell. It's a very good sell
All right.
signal here. You had a triple top, and then what do you guys want to see on triple tops in terms of volume?
Higher volume.
Higher sell and lower buy.
Okay, if you're bullish, you want to see less red compared to the first tap. This one is pretty aggressive. Then you see a compression. In terms of setups for compression, this is the best short you have. Even with this dump here, this is a sell. So what they do is you have a hard drop, then you do this little crap. Here, they drop, you come back, and now most likely headed, fortunately, 32. If your average is 60, you lose, you can lose quite a bit, half of it. Sometimes it's not bad to, like in my cases, if I was to see that there's a high chance we can drop to some of these levels, I'd rather, buy the average lower, right? Take my, whatever I have now, because that, let's say you have 30 shares and you multiply by 62, $1,800. Well, you take $1,800 and maybe buy more. I would think they're going to be coming back soon to this level. Like somewhere around here at 43, that's, $20 gain per share. That's $600 extra, and you would be able to afford a little bit more shares. That'd be like 40, maybe 50 shares. You would forego some dividends, but at the same time, you would pay less capital to get more. But
How long do you think it will take to get to that area?
take a look at the previous behavior when they hit the supply.
Aggressive selling.
Yeah. Doesn't take long. This one is look at the moves. So this one is really known for cycles and the way it dumps. And you guys know the inflation. Do you guys understand how inflation impacts the assets, as everybody is aware? Should be by now.
Pushes its prices up.
Inflation, no.
Pushes the prices down.
Inflation kills the prices of assets. I mean, think about this. Hey, you had a house that was 500K at 2.7, right? And then you have a house. Think about this. If I want to get the mortgage payment to be, I don't know, let's say this is $1,800. Okay. If I want the payment right now, this house to be, how much house can I afford at 6% to get the payment of 1,800?
Probably half of that.
Maybe like 250, 250 to 300.
It'll be between 250 and 300. Let's give it a 300. Okay. So let's think about who wants to buy a house. Let's say an average American wants to buy a house. So what has to happen to the value of a house in order for average American to buy it?
Lower.
Yeah, right now the interest is killing the mortgage payment. I'm dealing with that with people right now. They can't afford. They just can't afford
Think
it.
about it. The price of the housing has to go from 500 to 300K, because 300K at 6% is the same as 500K at 2.7. This is not exact math. Don't quote it. I'm giving you, I don't have a calculator amortized. Rough math. It would need to drop 200K, guys. It need to drop about 30%. The housing market needs to drop. And if this guy is dependent on income of housing, well, guess what? It's coming soon when people can't make payments. And how many landlords picked up a lot of houses, and are like, hey, man, I'm just going to get these people and rent it out. And those people can't make payments. What happens to the landlords that have houses that are at 500? Remember, this landlord has a house at 500, his payment 1,800. He has 4 of these.
He goes on deficit.
And he's not getting check in the mail or whatever, direct deposit for 1,800. Well, he better have some saved up.
Yep.
Either he signs like let go of the property, right? Whatever it's called, the liquidation. Or, I mean, I don't know what this person does that's living there, right? And then that person gets kicked out. And that's a long process, at least in the state of Georgia. I had a funny case with my friend who bought a house from a guy for $1.2 million. The guy took the closing and he told him, I just want to pack up some stuff from the house and I'll leave. He went in the house, lived there for 2 months for free in the house after the closing. And this guy kept paying his payments for 2 months.
Wow, that's crazy.
Oh, yeah,
And
that's
his
That's
happening.
wife is
wild.
a top lawyer in Atlanta. I'm not lying. His wife
That's
is one of the
happening in a
top
lot of.
lawyers here.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
that's happening over here in Florida too, Shorty. Yeah.
And he's like, man, we legally cannot do anything. If we go legally, it's gonna take 6 months. So he's like, we just have to pray that, you know, we can bother him, honk, and they did some crazy shit to aggravate the person. And he told them, I'm gonna leave in 2 months. He left after the 2 months, basically stayed free in his house for 2 months, while this guy made payments. I mean, on 1.2 million. I don't know, you know, I would think it's like 6, 7K that he had to pay
Oh my God.
per month. And he had to rent another house to live in with 3 kids while that happened.
That's crazy, bro.
So, and that's a good case scenario. But now think about how many landlords exist with multiple houses, and when checks stop coming in, the bigger your portfolio, the more you hurt.
Yeah.
So that you have to be smart, like on these cyclical, you know, seasonal stuff. I don't see value for myself to add more shares here. I'd be interested more like 30s, 40s. If you look at this, excuse me, volume profile, and you know, for something like this is where they loaded up on this. I mean, think about it. For $7 that pays dividends, these people are printing, not here. And I think you know by now, Sunflower, what you're seeing here, and not something you want to see, but yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna, like you said, it makes more sense to take a small loss and just buy it lower because I think this is commercial real estate, but I have to check again. I was just holding it because of the dividend.
Yeah.
But even commercial, if you know the economy slows down, commercial, you know, real estate starts emptying out too.
No, always, yeah. Here, I'll look here. But this is interesting here. If I'm reading this correctly, I haven't looked at this data before, so I will have to understand it. Number of expirations coming off is very high. Releases to the same client. Does this mean they're going away? Like they're not releasing again? I don't know. I would have to read the fine print.
Yeah, it looks negative to me.
So their revenue here is not really growing. They did something smart here. They sold a lot of properties in 2022.
Must mean, like we said, they gotta offload some of them.
Yeah. So do you see this?
That means that they sold shares.
Mm-hmm. So they diluted more. So yeah, that 62 will be gone fairly soon. So they only have 171 million cash. And a bunch of revolving credit that can get squished. Yeah, I mean, it's your call, right? But I personally don't find any value. I would want to hear 33-ish. Should be a good entry for me.
All right, thank you for that.
Shorty, have you seen VNO?
VNO.
It's a realty trust.
Oh wow. Oh, they're getting a reality check. Wow. US?
Yeah, they're out of New York City.
Wow. Man, they're getting smoked. What happened here? This is COVID and they went below COVID lows?
Yeah, I added some shares just because it has like a 7% dividend. I bought at 20, but just like a small amount.
Somebody's buying it here. Obviously, there's a big buyer here with a nice candle. This is bullish volume anomaly. They're gonna sweep this guy here. They're gonna come back at this guy. Let me see. Wow. I mean, they've been here since 1969. It's very close to a decent level for, I mean, but this is a long-term hold.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Just like starting to add for long term.
Or I would have to check their financials, but I'm gonna take this one, actually take note of this one.
Yeah, they last year I think their dividend was at 10 and they dropped it to 7%. But I mean, still decent.
I'm gonna take note of this one. Okay, thanks for this one.
Yeah.
But I think has a little bit more for me to go down. I wouldn't necessarily add some here for me, but I think in between here, below 15, I'll be interested.
Yeah, I was playing around with the chart, and I mean, I don't know if I charted it correctly, but I think there's like a V pocket like 15 or something like that.
15 for me would be a decent add in smaller quantities, and I like 10 a lot.
Okay, thank you.
1080, I'll be a buyer there. I mean, there would be a value there. I mean, obviously everything has cycles, but they would probably get rid of dividends if that was to happen. Okay. Let's see. I think somebody said that this touched. What? Oh. And what did we say they might do there? There it goes. They popped, trap these, and look at this. Do you guys see how instant this is? This is a good zone for shorting, guys. So let's see how they do. I mean, even if you took that here, I mean, if you got in at 76, and even if you drive it here too, if you go to this accumulation 5, high chance you're gonna go to 60 here overnight. It's a pretty good short. Okay. I'm probably gonna head to bed, guys, just to catch some sleep. But hopefully, you guys are clean and clear on the setups. I'll post the levels in the morning once I see what they're doing and how we behave here. I don't expect us to hop over this unless there happens some magic here. I don't expect them to facilitate price above this level. Worst case, find the 50% of this candle here. Let me remove all of these other fibs so it's not confusing. I don't expect them to break this here. This cluster, okay. And I would expect them, you know, they might have some bounce here for whatever this is worth, 39.69 dumpster. And then if that breaks, we go here. There's nice low volume here as well. This could be a developing POC if I was to click on it. Nope, it's gonna come back here, and this POC here is pretty much VPOC from this price action here, so they might have some unfinished business here. But yeah, you're gonna catch a nice low short here. Whoever took that, I did not. But that was live. All right, guys. Well, have a good night. Hopefully, you guys
Thank
picked
you,
up some
Shorty. Have a good
knowledge,
night.
and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Shorty, have a good night.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, guys. Have a good one. See you tomorrow.